Hi. Well, it's another beautiful day. And today I want to talk about a few things. But one of them is honesty. Now, in order to be awakened, in order to get awakened, in order to get on the spiritual journey, the number one thing you have to be is honest. If you're not honest with yourself and other people, just forget about the whole thing. Okay? Because only by being honest with yourself can you see where you're holding on to. Can you see where you're clinging? Okay, which is an important thing to be able to tell. If you can't tell that, then you have no hope of improvement. And if you are not honest with yourself or others about why you're doing what you're doing, then that's going to just occlude matters even more. Okay? And not only that, but the whole process is about finding out who you really are. And you have to be honest to do that. Because if you're not honest, then most likely the ego is going to take over. That's just the way it is. And I mean, I'm not trying to make anybody out to be bad or anything. I just want everybody who goes on a spiritual journey to have a good one. And that means being honest with yourself. Okay? And that's really the heart of everything. If you can't be honest with yourself, you can't awaken. All right? For instance, if you're afraid of something and you can't be honest about your fear because you're afraid, oh, someone will think I'm lesser of a person because I fear this thing. Okay? Which is bullshit. Anyone who thinks that is an idiot. Then you're going to be stuck. Being stuck is the same thing as telling lies. The more lies you tell, the harder it is to remember exactly what you told. And eventually, you get caught. Right? Now, there's all types of different methods that you can do in order to enter the spiritual journey or pathway. Breathing, saying a mantra like Ram, which is the Indian word for God, over and over and over again in your head. Or a lot of other ones are out there too. Om Mani Padme Sham, Om Mani Padme Sham, which is Indian for there is a jewel in the flower. I forget the name of the flower. But anyway, that's what that means. The point is, all these different ways that you can get yourself to feel God, okay, which is what they do, okay, are available, okay? Yoga is another one, okay? Depriving yourself of things, fasting, so on and so forth, okay? But all of these things are also traps because they become traps as you do them. The more you do it, the more it is setting up a trap with your ego. The ego is the master of all traps, okay? And when you say to yourself, oh, I'm becoming a good meditator, I'm a good meditator, I'm becoming a good meditator, I am a good meditator, I am the best meditator in the world, okay, then that's the ego saying, I am, which the ego loves to do, right? You cannot awaken from setting up a competition with anyone else, for instance. If you want to be the best meditator, then you're not going to awaken, okay? You can only be what you are. whether that's good or bad or indifferent regarding meditation doesn't really matter, because everybody's journey is different. Like each snowflake is different. Okay? That's just the way it is. And if you try to become holy, okay, or let's say holier than thou, that's what you try to become through your spiritual journey, then you're going to be unhappy. That's just the way it is. Okay? Because being holier than someone else is another trap. Okay? Just like meditating is a trap. Meditating is a great way to start to get the ego off your back. Start to stop making thoughts as often. Okay? Because it helps. It does. But if you just do that, there are people that have been meditating for 40 years and they don't have freedom yet. Why do you think that might be? Well, I don't know. But the point is, because they never got to the point of where they needed to be. The meditation became a trap. And they fell right into it. So, that's why it's important to be honest with yourself. Because if you think you're doing something better than somebody else, then that's also a trap. And if you say something to someone else like, oh, well, I meditated for 6 hours last night. And they're like, oh, well, I only meditate for 3. And you feel like this kick, this, oh, wow, man, I'm really cool. That's your ego coming up and getting you, okay? So trying to be in competition with anyone else is ridiculous. You can't, okay? Because everybody's different. Every journey is different, okay? And that's true for life as well, just regular life journeys, okay? Competition with anyone is ridiculous. You cannot compete with other life forms and be happy. Okay? That's all there is to it. You just can't do it. So, try not to let your progress be your downfall. Okay? As you progress through the spiritual path, I've told you before about the Dunning-Kruger effect and how you fall into the night of darkness, okay, and all that. Well, there's other traps along the way. And the more you use pride, oh, I'm so proud of how I am being, a meditative, how many hours I can fast. It's crazy, isn't it? Oh, I fasted 24 hours. Oh, I fasted 48 hours. Oh, you fasted 48 hours. Okay? That's what it is. It's ridiculous, but that's the way it is. That's the way the human mind, okay, and the ego within the mind uses people to get you off track. Okay? Anyway. Something else that might get you off track is taking things too seriously. Okay? Relax. Just do it. Okay? Don't try to make it into something it's not. Okay? Just allow it to be what it is. When you are meditating or you're chanting or you're feeling the energies in your body, whatever you're doing, you're in the now. That's what's important, because the only place in the universe where you can actually have contact with God or the collective consciousness of the universe, whichever you prefer, okay, is in the now. But what we do is we haul all this other stuff in there with us. That's just the way we are, okay? And it's mostly just mental stuff, okay? Like, you know, oh, I think I'm proceeding nicely along this path. I think I'm going to wake up. It's going to be great, blah, 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 blah. And having all these thoughts, okay, twisting around your mind causes you to fall into another trap. And the traps are scattered all over the spiritual ground. And being spiritual or becoming awakened is really about falling down into these traps and then realizing, hey, I'm in a trap. Okay? That's what the journey is. Okay? I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, if you look at, I don't know, Lao Tzu, okay? He just said, be the way. Okay? What is the way? The way is the way things are. Okay? Which is a really great way to be. Don't try to fight against the isness of your spiritual journey. Just accept everything that happens and be the way. As one wise man once said, the past is like a foreign country. They do things differently there. But it hasn't always been that way. Okay? That's the nature of the isness. Okay? Trying to grasp what you can't possibly really grasp, like the past or the future. Okay? Even if you're on the spiritual path or journey, okay? You cannot, if you reach too far, okay, to get to catch something that you think is important at the time, then you're gonna go down. That's just the way it is. Okay? And it's very difficult to try and be on a journey while also trying to be a person. That's why you have to first let go of being a person. Because otherwise that person is going to be there at every turn trying to stop you from awakening, because the person is in the control of the ego, right? That's what the person's in the control of. The person is in the control of the ego, okay? And so therefore you got to get rid of the person, okay? You got to get rid of this idea of who you are as somebody who went through college or somebody who did something in life prior to this now, okay? Like a job, or somebody who all that stuff is meaningless, okay? It doesn't mean anything, and we have to let it go. And that's just the way it is. And all of that is part of the journey. Starting out with accepting who you are. I don't know who you are for sure. I mean, I could be wrong. It's quite possible that I'm wrong. But I believe you are a soul. Okay? Just like I know that I am one. And that's just the way it is. I'm not trying to make you into anything you're not. I'm just trying to get you to see what you are. Because believing that you're something besides that is going to make you unhappy. That's all. Okay? And I don't want you to be unhappy. I want you to be happy. I want everyone to be happy. I see the suffering, and I don't like it. And there's really nothing I can do about it except try and relieve it, which is hard because people are stubborn. Anyway, so try to remember that you are a soul, and be honest about whatever it is you're thinking with yourself. Look inward. Try to figure out what is going on inside you. Because then you can try and find a way out of it. Okay? And that's all there is to it. Okay? I mean, these things are very difficult to do. Okay? I'm not saying they're easy. They're hard. Okay? But only by doing the hard things can we become whole individuals. Okay? That's the way it is. By continuing to live under the yoke of the oppressor. Okay? That's what it is. That's what the ego is. It's oppressing you. It's making you to be into something that you're not. That's what it's doing. Why? Because it wants to control you. So it can feel big. It can feel important. But it's not important. What is important is your soul. So just be really honest with yourself and with others about what it is you're really doing. Why are you doing what you're doing? Are you meditating? That's great. That's fantastic. Have you accepted who you are? If you haven't, then that's the first thing you need to do. Then do meditation. Okay? Because that's all that really matters. Until you can see your true self, feel your true self, you cannot awaken. Simple as that. And I know that seems like a hard thing to do, but just try and remember who you really are. Just try and remember that you are a soul. Okay? And, I mean, everything will eventually come about, right? That's what happens. Regardless of anything else, you are going to wake up. There's nothing stopping it. You can't go back into ignorance. There's no way. Okay? But the question is, are you going to wake up after 60 years of suffering? Okay? When you're on your deathbed? Or are you going to wake up now? That's your choice. You can wake up on your deathbed just as you're dying. Okay? Or you can wake up now. And the benefits of waking up are joy, love, wisdom, peace. Okay? Which are really good things to have. I mean, a lot of times people hold on to bad feelings. A lot of times people hold on to things in order to, I don't know. I have no idea why they do it. Okay, I'm not a psychologist. But basically, they're trying to normalize. They're trying to make the world normal. And whatever happened to me in the past, whatever it was, okay, was bad. And now I'm going to hold on to it so that I feel normal. That's what we do, okay? And if we're not honest with ourselves, which is what this really, this video is all about, is being honest, then how can we escape from that trap? That is a trap, okay? And I know it's hard to think of that you're in a trap or that you could be in a trap. But just be honest with yourself and look within and see what's going on. Do you want money? Do you want a good job? Do you want to have a good education? Do you want something in the future? Then you're in a trap. Okay? Or maybe you want a new car, or maybe you want a better job, or maybe you want... Wanting things is where the trouble starts. Okay? And we can stop wanting things by realizing that we are not the wanter. Who is the wanter? Well, I'm pretty sure it's the ego. Okay? That's the person who's wanting things. That's the person who's controlling the person that you think you are, who wants things. You are the soul. You don't want anything. You don't need anything. Because God gives you love, joy, peace, wisdom. Okay? So what you want is nothing. What you need is nothing from anybody. But the person that does want things, the person that does need things, is the person that you think you are. And as long as you think that you're that person, you're going to continue to want. Okay? Which is why you need to recognize who you are. Simple as that. Okay? I'm not trying to say that you're not a good person or that you're not anything. Okay? I'm trying to say that you're not who you think you are. That's all. Okay? And I think maybe to some extent you know that. Maybe not. It's hard to say. But this idea we have, this identity that we are identifying with this person, is a lie. Because that's not who we are. It's a crazy thing, isn't it? Life. Yep. That's for sure. But all we have to do is accept. Okay? Just start accepting the small things, like your cup of coffee in the morning. Does it not have the macchiato flavor? Let it go. What difference does it make? Okay? But I want the macchiato flavor. Oh, we don't have macchiato today. We ran out. What? Okay? I mean, that's what happens. I'm not trying to say anybody who wants anything is bad. I'm just saying that wanting things is the path towards unhappiness. Okay? You're trying to fill a hole. The hole God left. And that hole is what you're trying to fill with wanting, with obtaining, with getting. As long as you think that you are a person who wants a new car, who wants a boat, who wants a beautiful wife, so on and so forth, then you cannot escape from that. And as the unhappiness mounts up, which is what it does, okay? It's just going to get worse. And you're going to start to feel like your life is meaningless or empty. Because all these things that you wanted, even if you have gotten them, don't mean anything. That's what I think. Okay, I mean, obviously I have a car, obviously I have a place to live, so on and so forth, okay? But all that kind of happened by accident, okay? But anyway, it doesn't matter. I've let go of the house. I've let go of the car. I've let go of everything else tying me to unhappiness. And that's what you need to do. You need to let go of these things tying you to unhappiness. And you know what they are, don't you? Yeah, of course you do, because that's what's been going on in your mind, right? Yeah. That's what's been going on in your mind. You have been wanting these things, okay? Like, for instance, a man or a woman, okay? And you think that when you have that man or that woman, that your life is going to be perfect then. And you think if you have that car, or you think if you have that business, or you think if you have that win on the stock market, then your life is going to be perfect. But then you find out, no, it's not perfect, because it's still you, and you're in a trap. And that's why we have to be honest from the start. Okay? Because otherwise, we cannot escape the trap. And that honesty starts with recognizing the lies. Recognize the lies that you have been living under. That's all. Okay? I mean, it starts with just saying, I am a soul. That is who I am. That is what I am. Okay? Instead of a person with a birthplace and a birthday and so on and so forth. And that's why it's important to just be honest with yourself. Just accept what's going on without trying to make it something else. Okay? Which is what we do. Look, I'm just trying to tell you what I think. What the actual case may be for you is probably going to be completely different. Okay? I don't have any real thing I can tell you that's going to make your life better, except accepting, because that is the only thing. Accepting with honesty. That's it. And you'll start to feel freer from the beginning. The first thing you accept will make you feel free. That's the way it is. And as long as you continue to not accept the world and to fight against what is, then you're not going to be free, because that's just the way it is. I want you to be free, okay? But in order for that to happen, you have to get rid of or cut the lies that are going on. Okay? The lies of who you are. And it's not like you're telling lies or anything. The lies are just there. They've been there since the beginning. Okay? And it's really your turn, your responsibility to change that. Because otherwise, your descendants will go through the same thing. Okay? Like, for instance, when I woke up, my son thought I was crazy. You know? And he still does to a certain extent, but you know what? I still catch him saying things that I've said, like, you know, some of the things I say on here. Accepting what is. And that's something. That's percolating through, okay, everything, even though my son thinks I'm an idiot, is still a current of the meaning of life, which is important, which is God. That's the meaning of life. Anyway, well, I guess that's about enough time on this issue. Have a great life. I love you all because you're me. Because we're all one thing. We're all part of God. And God is part of the universe. So we're all part of the universe. And the universe is all part of us. Okay? And if you talk to scientists, they'll tell you that you are made of star stuff. Okay? And these molecules just happen to get together in a certain way to make intelligent life by accident. What kind of a crazy thing is that? It's the thing that makes everything the way it is, and we have to accept the way everything is, or suffer. All right, well, have a great day and a great life.